Share crazy story there. Unfortunately, there in Texas. We'll continue to follow it, but boy, what a day they had earlier there. All right, moving on to some other news here of the day. We mentioned this earlier today on NewsNOW from Fox, but really wanted to break it down for you a little bit more, give you an update on what is going on with GameStop stock as it continues to just go up and up. I mean, if you were looking at it just in late December, it was about anywhere from $15 to $20 a share. And now, right now, I'm looking at it. Let me look here. It's now $319 a share. Just today alone, it's up 117%, $167 already up there. Continues to surge. So we got to know what is going on. That's why we bring in Fox Business's Christina Partsenevelos with the very latest. Christina, thank you for joining us right here on, wow, what a crazy day. So what is happening? Why are we at this point right now where they just doesn't want to stop?
Yeah, I was making bets with friends who's going to write this book and turn it into a movie. But what we're seeing right now is possibly a story between the little guys, the retail investors, and the big guys, the institutional investors like hedge funds. GameStop was founded in 1984, and just over the last 5 years or so, it's been doing a little bit worse because not as many people are going to their retail locations to buy those video games and video equipment. We can get all of it online, and that was only exacerbated during the pandemic. But as you mentioned, in the month of January, all of a sudden, the stock just skyrocketed, well above 1,200%. So why did that happen? You had these institutional investors, these hedge funds, that believed the stock was going to continue to fall. So they bet the stock was going to fall. It's called short selling. You had these retail investors, these smaller guys maybe that are trading on Robinhood, TD Ameritrade. They saw what these institutional guys were doing. They banded together on an online forum called Reddit, and they said, hey guys, let's buy this stock, push it up so that these big institutional guys will lose. And so exactly what happened. You had the stock go up. The institutional guys say, hey, I'm going to drop my position now because I'm losing too much money. And they got up. And that's why you are seeing such huge momentum in the stock price.
And in this Reddit group, I mean, how many people are we talking that's in this group that could really drive this once they all get together and say, hey, this is what we want to do?
Well, it's not only just this Reddit group. You have over, I think it's 2 to 3 million people now in that group alone, and then you have subgroups of that group. It's called Wall Street Bets, should anybody that's watching right now want to go online and check it out. But you also have all of the financial news outlets, too, that are talking about this stock, driving it up. So the news is spreading. Every single media outlet is talking about it, too. GameStop, and it's not just GameStop. There are other stocks that are surging right now, like AMC, Koss, Bed Bath & Beyond. These are all examples of this play between hedge fund guys that believe the stock will fall and then retail investor guys that say, hey, I don't like that, I'm going to push it up.
Yeah, and now we're seeing, I mean, these stocks are really like, it's turning like into a casino right now. The ball continues to roll around. Where's it going to stop? Nobody knows. But here's the thing then, eventually, right? I mean, this is going to have to end. And who are going to be how many bag holders will we have at prices like $320, $330, $350 even that we saw today for a share price?
Excellent point that this is a very, very, very risky play. So you have a lot of these smaller retail investors using TD Ameritrade. Right now, they're winning. They got in at a lower price. They're seeing the stock surge. However, just as fast as that climb, the stock can drop dramatically. Right now, the short sellers, they've lost billions of dollars, which is why some of them closed their positions. The issue is we don't know when the stock will drop. And when it does, you'll have a lot of these smaller guys that maybe put in, $20,000 of their savings or $10,000, and it could be. So that's the major risk right now. But many of them do believe that there's some strength to continue. It depends on which theme and which narrative you're sticking with. Are you sticking with the theme that GameStop can continue to do better? Maybe they're going to focus on their online world and get those games out there. Or is GameStop really a company that is just going to fall and, let's ride this wave for a little bit and then get out immediately?
And for the people that are in this group and the millions that are part of this moment here that wrote it up and are continuing to see it, why don't they all come together and say, you know what, we wrote it, why don't we now change positions and write it down and make money on that way as well?
That's a really good question that is not asked enough. So the first answer that I could think of for that reason is not everybody can move at the exact same moment. So a bunch, let's say, 100,000 of these guys say, hey, we're going to start selling the stock right now. It's going to start to fall. You have a lot of other guys that maybe aren't in front of the computer. They're busy working. They're doing something else. Or they have another type of layout with their stocks. They have options. If it gets too complicated, they are going to trail behind. So there's always going to be a loser. And right now, the narrative, if you read this Reddit chain, is really about us versus them. So they don't necessarily want this stock to fall dramatically right now because, one, it could be driven by greed. They're all making a lot of money at the moment. And then two, they want to beat the big guys. They want to get those institutional investors like those hedge funds out of the play. And so that's the reason maybe why they're still keeping the stock a little bit higher. And a little bit, I should say over 100% higher.
Yeah. And then lastly, Christina, what does this do for the market overall? I mean, we're seeing the Dow down major points here today. What does it do?
We have this debate amongst a lot of analysts that come on our network and then any blogs that you read about whether the market right now is overvalued. You have the stock fundamentals, so how much money they're bringing in, their sales, their overhead costs, and then you have their sky-high stock prices, and often they seem disconnected. So many are arguing that right now our market is overvalued, and GameStop, what this play is happening, is just an example of just the exuberance in there, I guess the trend of people just taking such risky bets. However, on the flip side, you have so many that say, we're all at home. We have a lot of those that have money are saving a lot of money. There's pent-up demand. And so the moment the pandemic is slowly relieved and we're able to get back out there, we're going to be buying, we're going to be spending, and that's going to continue to drive stocks further. So it depends, again, on which side. Are you a bull or are you a bear?
There we go. There we go. And there's so many people out there that saying, you know what, I sold this when I was at 120. What am I doing? Am I an idiot? And then you got others that just didn't buy it all. So it's all in the mix, and that's what makes the stock market so interesting. And Christina Partsinevelos, thank you so much for giving us your insight. Right now, let me just look before we go. Now 307 there a share that we're seeing. So it started at 320 to 307. Yeah, so we'll see what the rest of the day has in store. Oh, and one more moment while I got you here. What happened in the after hours?
Yeah, sure.
What happened in the after hours yesterday? I mean, it settled at 145 a share yesterday, and then we had, Elon Musk getting into the mix, tweeting about the group, and then everything just shoots up.
Yeah, so this is a good point too. Elon Musk just gets in on these chains because he knows, I don't know if it's, the ego or a lot of people see him as a visionary, but whenever Elon Musk says something and puts out a tweet, a lot of people follow. The other day he talked about Etsy and how much he loves Etsy, and then you saw the share price go a little higher, and then you had financial channels talking about Etsy. So it's a big leader who has a cult-like following, and when he puts out a tweet, even if it's after hours trading, then you have people like, oh, Elon Musk is doing it. He's talking about it. Maybe I should get in, even though, the tweet didn't really say much.
There we go. There we go. So much to really take in, and we'll see how it just all wraps up at the end of the week there, but it is something to really, really take a look at. Christina Partsinevelos with Fox Business, thank you so much for your insight. We always appreciate it.
Thank you.
More news now from Fox continuing next here. We'll be back in just 2 minutes, everyone.